finalists in the plant design category are Designscapes Colorado for Country Club renovation. The client's goals for their home were to create a beautiful yard and keep the historic feel of the neighborhood using materials, plant selection, and design to complement the house. Selection of plant material was important to create color and interest throughout the year. Seasonal planters were used for interest as well as providing structure to the gardens. The design process consisted of multiple meetings, the first of which is an introduction to Designscapes Colorado and how their design process works. During this meeting, they listen to the client and talk about their project and their wishes, and then start to determine a scope of work. The next meeting was a presentation of conceptual drawing, along with an inspiration image board. The conceptual drawing is done by hand and color rendered to provide a visual layout of the property, and typically goes through several iterations to end up with a final landscape and planting plan. Throughout the process, the clients were very involved in the project on both the design side as well as the maintenance. Designscapes Colorado has continued to make improvements to the landscape with additional plant material and shrubs. The designer and construction team worked closely throughout the installation process to ensure the design vision was carried out. Boulder Landscape and Design for Louisville Secret Garden. The owner of this Louisville bungalow home reached out to Boulder Landscape and Design with the goal to transform their backyard into a space that was more functional for their needs, that also used less water, and also extended the look and feel of their home. The client wanted a planting plan with plants that provided significant amounts of texture, dimension, and bursts of seasonal color while providing year-round interest, as well as plants that were low water and would allow pollinators to thrive. Boulder Landscape and Design knew that to accomplish all the customer's goals in their compact backyard, the design would need to be concise. They recommended a completely xeriscape yard with 3 raised natural stone garden boxes, an abundance of low water plantings that delivered the texture and dimension desired, and included a mixed use of evergreens, ornamental grasses, and boulders to create year-round interest. Plants with bright colors like evening primrose, black-eyed Susan, lavender, and bee balm were used to create the pollinator garden. In addition to all the plantings, a fire pit and winding 5-stone path were added to create the feeling of a cozy secret garden. The design process began with an initial meeting from the designer and the customer to discuss project objectives and evaluate the current space. From there, a preliminary design plan was prepared with 3D renderings, and these were presented to the customer in person, along with a printed version left for the clients to review after the presentation. After the plans were finalized by both the designer and the client, they were given to the production and construction team. Prior to the installation, the designer and operations manager visited the home to discuss project details and answer questions to ensure everyone was on the same page with what needs to be completed. Throughout the project, the designer visited the site weekly to maintain consistent communication with both the client and the production crews to ensure everything was being built as planned. Tree of Life Landscapes for Risoluto. This client requested an eclectic, low-water garden that would complement the modern architecture of her new home. She also wanted it to complement and fit into the Boulder Foothills environment. To help move the project from concept to construction, Tree of Life started with concept imagery of other naturalistic plantings paired with modern architecture to give the client expectations for how the finished product might look. Then, they prepared 3D renderings to show various design configurations, slideshows with seasonal plant palettes to show the blooms throughout the season, and watercolor paintings to show the look and feel of the garden. Tree of Life provided their installation team with a detailed plant plan, and then the designer aided in the field layout. They used a hand-drawn library of plant symbols in their plans so that each plant can be easily identified and discerned from the next.